First of all, what a wonderful crowd here for this momentous occasion. This has been a long time coming. As our community has grown, this is great to have an emergency room now to service those. Gosh, Fairview Park Hospital, large contributor to our economic base. We appreciate everybody that you employ, and this is a great day for Dublin and Lawrence County. So thank y'all for being here. And I give those remarks on behalf of Mayor Best in his absence, rest of our city council, and the citizens of Dublin. So thank you.
From the county, we have some representation. I think Buddy Adams here is going to speak. We have John Martin here, and I may have, if I missed anybody, just let me know. Come on up here, Buddy.
Thank all of y'all for coming. What a great occasion this is for the hospital here. We have one of the best EMS groups in the state by the county, and with the help of the hospital here and what they do for us, it is a tremendous relationship that we have here in the county with the hospital. So thank y'all for this and all that y'all do for the county and the people in the county.
When I came here over 7 years ago, one of the things I told HCA is there's two significant needs this hospital has. One is to renovate their intensive care unit, and the other is to renovate their ER. Sometimes people say HCA moves slowly. This would be evidence of that, very carefully maybe. But I will tell you, it was a blessing in disguise that we kind of delayed, because had we done this a couple of years ago, 4 or 5 years ago even, we wouldn't have done what we've done. When I sat down a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, with Trey Wood, the architect, and Sherry Robbins, the director of the ER, and a few others, I said, you guys do whatever you want to do, but the one requirement is you have to stay within the existing walls of the ER. We can't afford to go outside the walls. The cost of that would be too high. Just stay within these walls. And I said, you guys have at it, and I left. And they ignored me immediately, and Trey designed a plan that added 2,500 feet to that end, and you don't think that's very much, but that 2,500 feet allowed us to do so many things in here in the existing space that we wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. We went from 12 rooms to 22 rooms. We were, just 8 years ago, we saw 28,000 people in our ER. This year we'll hit 45,000. I mean, that's almost 100% increase, but you look at, that's a dramatic increase going from that size to the size we are now. We've added staff, and we got to the point where staff wasn't going to make a difference. We needed more space, and we needed to have better use of the space we had. And I will tell you this, in my more than 25-year career, I've done a lot of construction projects. It's extremely hard to do construction when the space is still being used. And I had somebody at Christmas last year say, are you guys just going to close the ER down while you do the construction? And I said, wow, wouldn't that be great? You could get it done a lot faster, but obviously we couldn't do that. And in fact, in December of last year, just a short while after we started this project, we had the busiest month in the history of the hospital. And the past 12 months have been the busiest 12 months in the 33-year history of this hospital. And we could not have anticipated that. And here's the irony. During that time, our metrics, things that we measure in terms of performance, and our patient satisfaction didn't stay status quo, which was my hope. I hope we would just hang in there. We actually improved. That's pretty amazing. And I will tell you, there's a lot of people I could recognize. I've never seen a project go as well between the clinical staff and the construction staff. All the things that they had to coordinate and work through together, stop in a moment's notice if we were disturbing a procedure or patient care issue, sacrifices staff had to make because temporary walls were up. That could not have happened without the two leaders that made it happen. Sherry Robbins, who I think is an incredible director. I've learned a lot from her in the years I've worked with her. But you do such a good job running this ER, such a tremendous job. And Stuart Roderick, one of the requirements to Tom and Ben Hall for this project is, I got to have Stuart. And In fact, I was talking to Tom, and I told Stuart this. I met Stuart literally the first week I moved here, and I said, he's a special human being, but he's a really, really good leader on a project. It's phenomenal. Stuart's going to go do a project for the next year in Valdosta. And so we're coordinating the construction of our OR around Stuart. I said, I got to have Stuart when we do our OR, because we're going to do the same thing with our OR, hopefully sometime starting next year. But the job you guys have done, Stuart and Sherry, is just remarkable. And of course, Trey, your ability to see beyond what most of us can see and create something on paper that turned into this was remarkable. I look forward to working with you. I've known Trey for a number of years. I first met him when I was in Valdosta, and I know the kind of work he can do in his company. He actually has recently merged with a Dublin guy, Bill McLease's firm. They're now WMA2 or W2MA or something. But anyway, so many people touched this project, and when I think about where we were from the ER standpoint 7 years ago, we didn't just see 28,000 people. We didn't have coverage every night for most services. We didn't have surgery coverage or GI coverage. We didn't have orthopedic coverage and cardiology coverage. We had some, but not very much. And we have full coverage every night on all those services today. And it makes a huge difference as we look for ways that we can improve serving not just Dublin, not just Lawrence County, but as Randy said, we serve a large area. We're the biggest hospital between Savannah and Macon. We serve about a 10-county area. It's about 250,000 people, believe it or not. And we, I think, do a great job. I have partaken of the services here. We had a director who had to use our ER yesterday with a broken leg. That's how committed our people are. They help us, grow services. But anyway, we could not do this without the 750 people that work here. During some of the most difficult times in the ER, we would have people in other departments to come to Sherry and her staff and say, how can we help? How can we help you with the patients you've got and the patients in the hallway and everything? And that just doesn't happen. This is a special organization. It's a special community. And we really are neighbors taking care of neighbors, but it starts with taking care of our employees, taking care of our doctors. We have incredible medical staff. And the last thing I'll say is we can't make this happen in this ER without the nurses back here, without the doctors, without the nurse practitioners and the PAs. It's a partnership we have with a company called MCare. Brian Baxter, Dr. Brian Baxter's over there in the blue jacket there. And the company he works for, MCare, and Brian's actually an ER physician himself. They make that happen. I could go on and on about the relationships with our hospitalists and everything else, but it is a privilege for me to be a part of an organization, and it all starts here. 70% of our admissions come to the ER. The other departments don't want me to say this, but it's the most important department of the hospital because everybody almost comes through the ER. When you see 45,000 people as patients, that means you're probably seeing 150,000 people every year in the ER because nobody comes alone. We're here to serve you.
Donna, we just had the ribbon cutting. How is this going to help Fairview Park Hospital?
Oh, it's going to be an excellent addition. We now have 24 patient rooms, and we're seeing over 45,000 patients in a year, and you can imagine the traffic that flows through here. And it just gives us greater capacity to provide excellent care to the patients who come in experiencing an emergency.
We heard Don talking about it a while ago. How hard really was it to continue to do business? Because the hospital is not like our spare bedroom. We can just shut it down. How hard was it to continue to service patients?
I think it could have been much harder than it actually was, but we really have a great group of dedicated staff and physicians and providers that really were focused on the patient. And, just as if there was a cart or stretcher in the hallway, they moved around those barricades to deliver patient care with absolutely no issue. I was surprised at how quickly they adapted to every change we threw at them. And so, from the outside perspective, it looks seamless. Our performance actually improved during the construction with less than half the rooms that we ended up with. So tremendous kudos to our staff.
I've seen it over the years, but it seems like the reputation in the community, and it's hard for any business, much less a hospital, because when you're sick and hurting, to keep them happy. But how have you seen over the years, and how is that nurse, you being director of nursing, how is that nurse-doctor relationship, where does it play in making the final product what it is today?
Okay. Well, in the emergency department in particular, it's critical because basically we're a team of two, usually, that take care of every patient walking in the door, and we have to be absolutely in sync. And, you know, you talked about, I've been here almost 7 years. When I first came, probably our greatest concern was the delay it took from a patient to get from the front door to see a physician. When you're having an emergency, your goal is to see a physician and determine what needs to happen immediately. And you could have a wait historically in many hospitals outside of our company that's focused on this of 2 and 4 hours to see a physician. Our average door to greet, and that's from the time you walk through the door to a physician walks in your room, introduces himself, is 9 minutes for the last 3 months. And I think that knowing that the patients want to see the physician and want that comfort immediately is absolutely what's helped with the more recent success that we've had.
And I've been a part of this, coming in really deathly ill. A lot of people don't even stop at the emergency room. Is when I was brought in by ambulance that day, I was what you call a direct admit.
Right.
So explain that to our viewers, because some people think you just lay around the emergency room.
Right.
If it is bad enough, you do that direct admit,
right.
and people are immediately taking care of you.
Right. There's a process called direct admission. That's when your physician in the community has seen you and said, you are sick enough that you need to move right into the hospital and not stop in the emergency room. And they'll contact one of our hospitalists that are inpatient physicians, and you'll go straight up to bed. It'll be ready and available for you, and the staff will be there waiting for you, and the physicians to provide the orders to carry out your care. We do have some other processes when you come into the ER that kind of expedites your care. If we think you're having a heart attack, the cath lab team, we have them on site, and you move right into the cath lab so they can do a coronary intervention and remove the blockage. Or if you're having a stroke, we immediately greet you and bypass you into the CAT scan so we can see immediately if there's a stroke going on or a brain bleed, so we know what the treatment is. So we've really expedited specific diagnoses to provide immediate care for those patients where time is essential to the outcome for the patient.
Yeah, because your number one priority is our health.
Exactly.
I mean, that, and you learn through
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. Well, thank you for what you do for our community, and especially this hospital. We've seen it just come leaps and bounds through the years, and I know you're a big part of that, and we appreciate it.
Thank you. We appreciate your support. Thank you.